of the 5th edition. Join our various gaming groups as we play the 5th edition of Dungeons & Dragons. And maybe just hang out and chat about gaming in general. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Kelly, aka Trixie from Ragnarok and Roll, a Scion to Ragnarok story, and Tilda Wimblewick from D&D Journey of the 5th edition. First off, I would just like to say thank you to everyone for listening to our varied adventures, as well as for rating us on iTunes and RPGpodcast.com. If you haven't rated us yet, we would greatly appreciate it if you could. And if you're looking for more ways to support our efforts, we are now on Patreon, a great site where you can help us continue making more podcasts, as well as some special surprises for our patrons. If you can, please look us up at www.patreon.com/cppn. Every little bit helps. And again, thank you for listening.
Hey guys, Jim here.
And Kelly.
And we are here for hashtag RPGaDay2022 for August the 27th, which is How Has Your Character Changed?
Well, I mean, since we had started with, that I had chosen Lil, since she's the most recent one, actually, she hasn't changed too much. The reason being, I think, is because she can be anyone and anyone. Anyone and everyone, I meant. So it's kind of, well, I guess the fact that one of the things that changed from when I created her the first time is she actually has gained 2 more personas. And with a changeling, a persona is more like a almost fully fleshed out person, a completely separate identity. The personas can have completely different religions. They could be completely different alignments, whatnot. So I guess that has, caused some progression. But, so she now has a half-orc persona, Yaya, and actually learned Orcish. That took a while. And now she just recently started a new one that's, taking on a life of its own, Rendo Bardo.
Rando Bardo.
So I guess you could say with that, I mean, I've had characters though that have completely just changed utterly, especially in my Scion games where they have, here's this one, she's feisty and, tricky and all that type of thing, but completely fun loving and, mischievous. And now she's broken. Yeah, you laugh. You're the one that broke her.
I laugh because look at that character development. It's great.
Yeah, and my other Scion character who is also, she was a total, her background is libertine. And then she winds up becoming a mom. And it was, on top of that, at the same time, right around the same time, not only did she got suddenly thrust from being hero to being a god in a literal split second. And of course, went a little,
Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Well, let's just say she had a really bad day and she was just getting some back. Then after that, as a result, of being a god and then having it also just as suddenly taken away from her, And then she finds out not only is she's coming down hard after, losing all of this massive power that she never asked for, that she never intended, but not only that, but hey, also, guess what? You fucked up. You broke the rule that you didn't know existed. And because you didn't know it existed, we're not going to just kill you outright, but we're going to make you pay wereguilds. So she had to spend a year paying back these gods for something that she didn't know. And by the way, you're pregnant. What?
Congratulations.
Exactly. So, and it was funny because at the time she didn't know, when you were the GM, at that point, it's like they didn't know who the father was at that point, because when she became the goddess, things kind of went a little haywire. And it really ramped up some of her, abilities. And vices, and sex is one of her vices. So she didn't know at that time. However, I did write subsequent stories. She's got a number of these just like short stories, anywhere from 1 to 4 or 5 pages, and one of them I decide who the dad is and take it out of your hands. There were some really good, cute stories in that one.
Oh, you were absolutely terrified of which one of the player characters it was.
Yeah, but it wasn't a player character.
It wasn't.
No.
It wasn't.
No, I chose.
You chose to bite the bullet.
Exactly, and it's Loki's baby.
Why is your child so mischievous? Well, it could be the mother, or he could have got it from his father.
It's quite a handful. But I wrote a story immediately after, sort of what happened after she had the news dropped on her that you have to pay these wereguilds. B, you're the father. The wereguilds were really difficult for her because, first of all, one of them was she couldn't kill anybody for a whole year.
Aww. A murder hobo that can't kill for a year.
But the thing is, our whole point was to go out and stop the Titan spawn, and they're trying to kill me. So that made it a little difficult. And then, and also, not that she would have, but it also meant that it took away her choice.
It did.
It did. For whether to keep the baby or not. But she would have kept it regardless. Then she had to take care of. There was an amulet from one of the scions that she had killed when she was in God power. And basically I had to be its custodian until I could give it to Isis's next replacement, her next,
priestess.
Yeah, her next priestess. So I wrote a story for that. And then there was another one. Oh my God, now I'm just drawing a blank. But needless to say, there was a few. Oh, I had to. She actually tasked me with 2 things.
You had to do the priestess's duties.
The priestess's duties. So that's why I was thinking there was another one. So I wrote a story about one of those duties. And that's where I took down a Titan of a different, pantheon. One of the
Egyptians.
Companion ones. No, the companion ones, the Morrigan.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, a scion of the Morrigan, who is working with the Dark Fae.
Made life interesting.
Yeah, but all of them related to sort of her situation as well, so it was interesting. And employed other characters and stuff from some of her other backstories. And so I mean those characters had lots of development. Lil, who had chosen from the initial, ones for this RPG, she's a little more because I think she's so fluid and constantly changing. Her essence, I don't think has really changed any.
No, not really. It's Lil is still Lil. She's just added different flavors to herself.
Exactly.
So for Sentinel Prime, I'll say the biggest thing is that he's discovering his wise assery. And the fact that he now doesn't have to listen to people in the Star Wars game is either fun or bad for the group, depending on how things go.
Are you channeling your inner Chopper?
I'm not channeling my inner Chopper. I'm totally channeling my inner Data.
Oh, okay.
Meets IG from Mandalorian.
IG-88 or
not 88, but IG from the Mandalorian.
Oh, okay, Nannybot.
Yeah, Nannybot.
I love the Nannybot.
So I'm embracing the whole discovering having free will and playing it out sort of like Data did over the seasons of Next Generation. I mean, I'm not bothered with emotion because that's simply a stupid organic thing. Just like the Force, it doesn't really exist. It can't be quantified. And yes, he totally throws things out like that at the group, that these emotions are only meant to be used as tools.
My droid has emotions. Or, something similar. More of it just likes to see the pretty, explosions are very... BT finds explosions beautiful and, likes to see them as much as they can.
And the fact that Sentinel Prime likes the fact that he is independent. Before he had to listen to the laws of the Republic, and now he doesn't have to.
Yeah, BT appreciates that as well.
It's nice to have that independent streak.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you were forced to being the lawgiver for the group to remind them they're breaking the law. Now I just bust the chops of the Padawan who's no longer a Padawan, reminding her that she's not behaving in a very Jedi way. Or as, I've joked many times, is your lightsaber turning kind of red?
Ooh. Slippage.
Which we don't want to do because, of course, if she goes Sith, I will execute her on the spot. I've been quite verbal about that because that is his driving goal, is to execute the Sith and Imperial troops and to prove his combat superiority to them in every way.
Well, it's good to have,
and
a plan.
The fact that my GM in that game now is terrified of me finding any good sniper position because I can shoot with my rifle to extreme range and actually only have 2 purple dice.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. And I have true aim rank 2, which means I get 2 free upgrades just by aiming.
I was literally just about to ask you if you had true aim.
Yeah, I'm the reason why the group understands how effective true aim is now.
Use it to your advantage.
And more importantly, being able to use a weapon outside its intended range, which is nice. Because that means you can use grenades outside its intended short range.
Ooh, we must talk.
You must buy a tree that has that ability.
Yes, that's why we must talk.
But it's always fun to play a different character, because I always thought somebody in the group would play that style character. And it was nice to do it myself, because that way I don't have to think. I just murder stuff and I see stuff. That's my job. I see stuff and I murder stuff. Except for, of course, the ambush we walked into at the end of last session. I did not see that coming. He made me roll vigilance instead of perception. My vigilance is 1 green.
Ooh.
I'm going to be fixing that, but I want to buy a new talent tree before then. I haven't decided what my talent tree is, but I have 40 points to spend in a new tree. I'll have to find something interesting because it'll be a hobby that he's picked up.
Interesting.
So I have to decide, is this like a bounty hunting thing, or is this, something that's not a bounty hunting thing? I mean, it'll be interesting to see what I pick and what it's going to change his character. Because I totally think, if I could put the points into something, social combat is something our group completely lacks. Because we totally had a Jedi, and we kind of had expectations, like our Jedi would have force powers and talkie powers.
But they only have force powers, I take it?
Our Jedi only has physical force powers, and that doesn't include move, and has no talkie skills.
Okay, then.
When we're in a pinch, we have our 2-foot-tall, blue furry, fox-like pilot do all the talkie. And it's only when he's lying is he effective at
it. So it's all in deception?
It's all in deception. No coercion or charisma whatsoever. But that's something, now that we know the group dynamic, that I'm trying to decide, how do I branch out? Because we have 2 mechanics and we have 1 medic, and I don't really care about medicine that much, even though I did put a rank in medicine because it'll help me know how to kill people. At least that's his point of view, is he's got a rank in medicine for knowing how people were killed and how to kill people.
Well, anatomy, I can speak, anatomy can help with that.
So that will definitely be interesting to see how he progresses. So I think we've definitely covered on how does
they have changed.
How the character has changed as somebody's going for my bowl of food. Alrighty, guys. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back tomorrow with Style Sunday. Ooh, it's a D-roll one. Gonna have to make sure you got your dice ready.
Thank you for listening to D&D Journey of the 5th Edition, a member of the Creative Play and Podcast Network. Please follow us on Patreon at patreon.com/CPPN to never miss a show or stream.